If you're listening to this right now, it's not by accident. The moment you pressed play, something divine was set in motion. God orchestrated this encounter because He has something urgent to say to your heart. A message that goes beyond coincidence, beyond timing, beyond understanding. He wants to whisper to that deep place inside you that's been questioning, waiting, doubting, and yet still believing. You've been carrying someone in your heart, haven't you? A person who's been more than just a thought. They've become a prayer, a longing, a quiet ache that words can't fully describe. You've asked God over and over, should I hold on or should I let go? You've tried to silence the emotions, tried to move on, but every time you do, something in your spirit won't let you. That's not obsession. That's not weakness. That's a seed, a divine seed God Himself planted in your heart. And today the Lord says, don't give up. Don't walk away from what I've planted. Don't let discouragement speak louder than my promise. Because when I begin a work, I always finish it. I am not a man that I should lie, nor a promise maker who forgets what he said. Have you ever wondered why certain souls leave an imprint so deep it feels eternal? Why some connections touch not just your emotions but your very spirit? It's because not every encounter in your life is random. Some are divine appointments, moments designed by God before you even took your first breath. Jesus said in Matthew 19:6, "So they are no longer two but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate." This truth extends beyond marriage. It touches every divine union born from God's heart. When He joins two souls for a purpose, no earthly circumstance, no delay, and no distance can destroy it. But the enemy knows this. He sees the potential, the light, the destiny that could come from this connection. And so he wages war, not with visible weapons, but with subtle whispers. He tells you too much time has passed. He says, if it was meant to be, it would have happened by now. He suggests, you're just imagining things. Move on, forget it. But those voices are not from God, they are echoes of fear. God's voice brings peace even in the waiting. His Spirit brings stillness, not confusion. Remember what is written in Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Your end sees, if there is any reaction, both are transformed. That's the beauty of divine connection. It transforms both hearts. It's not about possession, it's about purpose. It's not about clinging, it's about co-creating something sacred together. Maybe that's why you can't let go. Because this isn't ordinary, it's spiritual, it's eternal. And soon, the silence that once hurt will become the space where you hear God most clearly. The waiting that once felt empty will become the womb of fulfillment. Every prayer, every tear, every moment of surrender is leading to something that will make you say, now I understand. Keep your heart soft. Keep your faith steady. Because the one who wrote your story is still writing. And He never leaves a chapter unfinished. But those voices are not from God, they are echoes of fear. God's voice brings peace even in the waiting. His Spirit brings stillness, not confusion. Remember what is written in Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Your end sees, if there is any reaction, both are transformed. That's the beauty of divine connection. It transforms both hearts. It's not about possession, it's about purpose. It's not about clinging, it's about co-creating something sacred together. Maybe that's why you can't let go. Because this isn't ordinary, it's spiritual, it's eternal. And soon, the silence that once hurt will become the space where you hear God most clearly. The waiting that once felt empty will become the womb of fulfillment. Every prayer, every tear, every moment of surrender is leading to something that will make you say, now I understand. Keep your heart soft. Keep your faith steady. Because the one who wrote your story is still writing. And He never leaves a chapter unfinished. You see, what you're going through right now isn't a coincidence. And it's not meaningless. Every delay, every unanswered prayer, every night you've spent questioning, all of it is part of something divine unfolding. God is not silent because He's forgotten you. He's silent because He's preparing the perfect alignment. When He works in silence, it's because He's doing His deepest work. Think of the seed again, hidden under layers of earth, buried, unseen. To the eye, it looks lifeless. But beneath the soil, something powerful is happening. The darkness isn't punishment for the seed. It's protection. The pressure, the stillness, the isolation. It's the womb where life is being formed. And that's what your season of waiting is. It's the sacred soil where promise takes root. Don't be afraid of the quiet. Don't mistake hiddenness for abandonment. God hides what's precious while He's preparing it. Diamonds form under pressure. Gold is purified in fire. And hearts chosen for divine purpose are strengthened in waiting. Maybe you've asked, God, why this person? Why can't I forget them? You've tried, haven't you? You've distracted yourself, prayed for peace, even tried to convince yourself that it's all in your mind. But then something happens, a song, a dream, a memory, and it all comes rushing back. That's not a random emotional relapse. That's the echo of something eternal. God doesn't give you feelings to torment you. He gives them to guide you. There are some souls that resonate at the same spiritual frequency. When two hearts are aligned by heaven, they recognize each other beyond words, beyond distance, beyond logic. And though time may separate them, the connection remains because it was never merely human. It was divine. But divine connections come with divine timing. God doesn't rush destiny. He waits until both hearts are ready, Boris, until love will no longer wound but heal. You are in that preparation right now. The same God working in you is working in them. You are both being refined, both being healed, both being positioned for something that will carry eternal purpose. Remember Jacob. His patience was the foundation of a promise that outlived him. The 12 tribes of Israel were born from his perseverance. Your patience, too, is producing something generational. The way you love, the way you wait, the way you trust, it's shaping your destiny and leaving a legacy. Let this truth settle deep. Waiting with faith is not wasted time. It's sacred investment. When you stand in faith through silence, heaven takes notice. When you choose love over bitterness, God writes your endurance into eternity. Every time you whisper, Lord, I still trust you, the heavens respond with grace. You are not waiting alone. You are waiting with God. Sometimes, the Lord allows you to walk through seasons where everything seems still, not because He's punishing you, but because He's inviting you to learn stillness within. It's in those quiet places that He reveals Himself most clearly. The stillness becomes the sanctuary where His whisper can finally be heard. God isn't trying to take something from you. He's trying to give you something deeper. He's teaching you to love without control, to hope without seeing, to believe without proof, because that's where real faith lives, in the space between promise and fulfillment. And when that promise manifests, it will come suddenly, like dawn breaking after the longest night. You'll look back and realize that every delay was mercy, every silence was grace, and every tear was watering the soil of your miracle. The enemy wants you to interpret delay as denial, but God says delay is design. Don't trade divine timing for human urgency. The world says move on, but heaven whispers hold on. I'm not finished. Carl Jung once said, even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness, and the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. That's why God allows the ache, because it shapes compassion. It matures your love, humbles your spirit, deepens your empathy. The ache isn't punishment, it's preparation for the joy that's coming. When you've been through heartbreak and kept your heart soft, you become a vessel of grace. You learn to love as God loves, not for what you receive, but for what you can give. That's the kind of love heaven recognizes. That's the kind of love that changes generations. So what should you do now? Wait, yes, but not passively. Wait with purpose. Wait while becoming. Focus on growing into the person who can carry the love you've prayed for. Work on your heart, your peace, your purpose. Because when God finally brings this person back into your life, or reveals them clearly, you'll be ready, healed, and whole. Don't waste your waiting. Use it. Spend time in prayer, not pleading but praising. Speak life over what you're believing for. Say, Lord, thank you for what you're preparing. Thank you for working even when I can't see it. Faith isn't pretending you're not tired. It's believing even when you are. Let your worship become your weapon. Let gratitude become your anchor. Because when you thank God in advance, you're declaring trust in His character, not just His timing. God sees every detail. He knows when your paths will cross again. He knows the exact moment when the hearts will align. when healing will meet readiness, and when His purpose will ignite between you. Nothing is random in His design. Isaiah 55 reminds us, "My thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, says the Lord. His ways are higher, His timing wiser, His purpose deeper." And maybe right now He's saying, be patient. I'm not just writing a love story. I'm writing a testimony. Because what's coming isn't just a relationship, it's a revelation. It's going to show the world what faith looks like when it refuses to quit. Every test has meaning. Every delay has design. And every promise, when fulfilled, has glory attached to it. When God finally moves, it will be so clear, so undeniable, that you'll understand why it had to take this long. You'll see that He wasn't denying you. He was protecting you, perfecting you, and aligning everything for something far greater than you could have planned yourself. So keep walking in faith. Keep your eyes lifted. Speak hope when it's hardest. And remember, you are not waiting alone in the dark. Heaven is working on your behalf. Angels are arranging divine appointments. God Himself is writing a chapter that will redeem every tear you've shed. Your waiting is sacred. Your faith is seen. Your promise is closer than you think. And when it comes, when that divine alignment finally happens, you won't have to question it. There will be peace. There will be clarity. There will be purpose. You will know that it was God and God alone who brought it to pass. There will come a day when the waiting ends, not because you forced it, not because you chased it, but because heaven says, now. And when that moment arrives, everything that once felt confusing will make sense in a single breath. You'll see how every unanswered prayer was actually answered in a higher way. You'll understand that God wasn't withholding, He was preparing. But before that now comes, He's doing something sacred within you. He's strengthening your heart to carry a deeper love, a love that mirrors His own. The kind of love that endures storms and still believes. The kind of love that can stand in silence and still trust. The kind that's patient enough to wait and strong enough not to waver. Because when God brings two people together for His purpose, He doesn't just unite hearts, He unites missions. He doesn't just create romance, He creates legacy. This person who's been on your heart isn't just someone meant to bring comfort. They're someone who will walk beside you in destiny. Together, you'll carry something that can only be birthed through divine partnership. That's why the enemy fights this so fiercely. He knows that if the two of you stand in alignment, heaven will move through you in ways that will shake the ground. He knows that your union will heal others, restore faith, and reveal God's love in living form. That's why he tries to sow confusion, fear, doubt, and distraction. But don't let those voices steal your faith. Remember what's written, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" The Lord Himself fights for what He ordains. You don't need to chase, force, or manipulate. All you need to do is trust. There's a quiet power that comes from surrender, from saying, "Lord, your will, not mine." It doesn't mean you stop desiring. It means you trust the designer. You let Him decide when, how, and through whom the promise will manifest. Because when He does it, it will be effortless, natural, filled with peace. Peace, that's how you'll know it's Him. Not through chaos, not through anxiety, but through that deep, unshakable peace that says, this is right. This is safe. This is home. Maybe that's what God's teaching you in this waiting season. How to recognize peace over passion, purpose over impulse, and faith over fear. The world teaches us to hurry, to grab, to chase. But the Spirit teaches us to trust, to rest, to receive. Carl Jung once wrote, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." And maybe that's what God is whispering to you now. You're not defined by the waiting. You're being refined by it. You're choosing to become more patient, more loving, more resilient, more like Christ. Because true love isn't found through striving. It's received through becoming. The waiting time is not a pause in your story. It's the shaping of your soul. Every lonely night, every tear, every unanswered question is molding you into someone who can carry divine love with maturity and grace. God isn't just preparing the promise. He's preparing you for the promise. And He's preparing them too. You might not see it, but they are in their own process. God is healing their fears, confronting their doubts, refining their priorities. He's aligning their steps to meet yours at the exact divine intersection. Just as He's been working in your silence, He's been speaking in theirs. When the time is right, He will move heaven and earth to bring your paths together. You won't need to force it. You won't need to question it. It will happen with clarity, with purpose, with grace. And when it does, you'll realize why every not yet was really a just wait and see. Remember Joseph again, how his prison became preparation for the palace. In one day, God turned his years of waiting into a moment of fulfillment. That's the power of divine timing. It turns delay into destiny. Don't despise your preparation. It's the birthplace of your promise. When you feel weary, whisper this to your soul. God is still working. Say it until your heart believes it. Because He is. He's aligning everything with a precision only heaven understands. And when that person comes, or when that person returns, there will be no confusion. There won't be games or fear or uncertainty. They'll come with clarity, with peace, with purpose. It won't feel like striving. It will feel like breathing. You'll both know that God's hand is on it. You'll talk and realize your stories match like puzzle pieces. Each pain, each delay, each lesson fitting perfectly together. The timing will be undeniable. The connection will be unmistakable. And the love will be unmistakably divine. But even before that happens, remember this. Your joy doesn't depend on their arrival. Your peace doesn't depend on their presence. You are already whole in God. This waiting season isn't about becoming worthy of love. You already are. It's about learning to walk in completeness so that when love comes, it's not need that draws you, but purpose. That's how God builds divine unions, through two whole souls who reflect His image, not two broken hearts trying to fill each other's emptiness. So while you wait, don't stop living. Keep walking in your calling. Keep loving people. Keep building the dreams God put in your heart. Because when love comes, it should find you busy doing the work of your purpose. There's beauty in divine timing. It allows love to meet purpose. And when love and purpose walk together, the world changes. God is weaving something eternal. You may not see every thread, but He does. He's connecting past, present, and future in ways that will make you stand in awe. What He's preparing will be so full of His fingerprints that no one will be able to deny that it was Him. So breathe. Release the anxiety. Lay down the need to know every detail. God is faithful. He is the author of your story, and He finishes what He starts. The promise still stands. The love is still alive. The vision is still in motion. And though it lingers, wait for it. It will surely come and will not delay. Soon you'll wake up one morning and realize that peace has returned. That joy has replaced the ache, and that the promise has quietly begun to unfold. You'll see that every prayer you whispered in the dark was heard, every tear counted, every sigh seen, because the God who began this story in your heart will finish it beautifully. He never starts something He doesn't intend to complete. So lift your head. Let your heart rest. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where you're meant to be, in the process of divine alignment. And when the time comes, you'll see it, the fulfillment of everything He whispered in your spirit. You'll look back and say, it was worth every moment of waiting. When that day comes, when the promise finally blooms before your eyes, it won't feel rushed or fragile. It will feel ordained. You'll look into their eyes and recognize what your soul always knew. This is what I was waiting for. Every doubt will fade in that instant because peace will take its place. And peace is the signature of God. You'll see that all along. He wasn't just preparing a relationship. He was shaping two lives that would mirror His faithfulness. He was teaching both of you what love truly means. Not fleeting emotion, but steadfast commitment. Not mere affection, but purpose and unity. Because divine love doesn't just make you happy, it makes you holy. It draws you closer to God, deepens your compassion, and strengthens your purpose. This love won't pull you away from the Lord. It will draw you deeper into His presence. It won't create confusion. It will bring alignment. You'll pray together, dream together, and build together. You'll stand side by side in storms and still choose each other because your connection won't be built on circumstance. It will be rooted in covenant. This is what God means when He says, "What I have joined together, let no one separate." Because when He joins hearts, He also joins destinies. He connects callings, not just emotions. And maybe, just maybe, this person you've been waiting for is more than the fulfillment of your hope. Maybe they're the partner of your purpose. Someone who will help you become more of who God designed you to be. Someone whose presence multiplies your peace, not your pain. Someone whose faith fuels yours. Someone who recognizes your calling and says, "Let's do this together." That's the kind of union heaven blesses, where love and purpose intertwine. So when the moment arrives, when God says, "Now," it will not be confusion that meets you, but clarity. Not anxiety, but assurance. There won't be a need to prove, chase, or question because both hearts will know. You'll see that the same Spirit that spoke to you also spoke to them, and the waiting will finally make sense. It was never wasted. It was sacred. God's silence was not distance. It was His way of perfecting your timing, your faith, your identity. He allowed the separation not to punish you, but to prepare you. He was aligning the seasons, refining the hearts, and ensuring that when you meet again, or when you meet for the first time, it would be right. And when that happens, your story will be a testimony, not of perfect people, but of a perfect God. You'll tell others, "We didn't find each other by luck. We found each other by obedience." You'll speak of how faith carried you through the waiting, how hope became your anchor, and how love never left your heart because God never left His promise. This is why the enemy fought you so hard, because your story carries deliverance for others. Your perseverance will teach someone else how to trust again. Your restoration will show someone that divine love is still real. Your union will break generational cycles and release a new legacy of faith and wholeness. So don't let go now. Don't let impatience rob you of what's being written in heaven's ink. Hold on to faith, not through striving, but through surrender. Say, "Lord, I trust your timing, even if it doesn't look like what I expected. I know you're faithful." Because when you trust Him completely, you give Him permission to exceed your expectations. You're not waiting for just any love. You're waiting for the love God designed specifically for your purpose. And when that kind of love arrives, it won't bring chaos. It will bring confirmation. Let your heart rest in that truth. Stop counting the days. Start counting the signs of His faithfulness. Every sunrise that greets you, every breath you take, every gentle nudge of peace, they're all reminders that God is still writing. And when you feel tired, when the silence feels unbearable, go back to His word. Remember Habakkuk 2:3. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. The appointed time is coming. The promise will speak, maybe not the way you expected, but in the way that will bring the most glory to God and the most healing to your soul. You'll look back one day and realize that God didn't just give you what you wanted, He gave you what you needed. He gave you someone who would walk beside you through purpose, through ministry, through life. Someone who sees your spirit before they see your flaws. Someone who loves with the same patience God used to love you through your process. That's divine love. That's the promise He's preparing. So don't rush the miracle. Keep living, keep growing, keep believing. Let the waiting make you wiser, not weaker. Let it teach you how to trust without proof, how to love without fear, and how to hope without limit. Your waiting isn't punishment, it's protection. God is shielding you from premature connections so that what's meant for you won't have to compete with what isn't. He's refining your heart so that when the promise arrives, you can handle it with grace. And one day soon you'll wake up to see that the promise has arrived quietly, beautifully, in God's perfect time. You'll feel peace, not the fragile peace of circumstances, but the deep peace of destiny fulfilled. You'll walk hand in hand with the one who once lived only in your prayers, and together you'll step into the purpose God designed long before you were born. And as you do, you'll understand something profound. God didn't just answer your prayer, He surpassed it. He gave you more than you imagined because He knew what your heart truly needed. You'll see how every delay carried meaning. Every tear watered the ground where the promise would grow. Every not yet was His mercy saying, wait until it's perfect. And in that moment, you'll know it was worth it. Every second, every sigh, every night you spent believing in the unseen. It was all worth it. So lift your eyes, child of God. The dawn is near. What was once hidden is about to be revealed. What was once delayed is about to unfold. And when it does, you will stand amazed, not just at what God did, but at how He transformed you in the process. Because this was never just about receiving love. It was about becoming love, becoming the reflection of His heart on earth. And now, as heaven prepares to release the promise, hold on to this truth. What God plants, He waters. What He waters, He grows. What He grows, He fulfills. He's faithful. He's on time. And He's bringing beauty out of your waiting. Soon, your story will shine as a light for others. Proof that when God writes the story, love never fails, hope never dies, and promises never go unfulfilled. So breathe in His peace. Walk in His timing. Believe in His promise, because your time is coming. Your person is coming, and when they arrive, you'll know heaven kept its word.